Last weekend's Japanese Grand Prix was not only a speed contest, but it also revealed the cracks that have begun to appear behind the glory of the legendary Ferrari team. It wasn't the brilliant maneuvers or the drama at the finish line that grabbed attention, but the sound, not the roar, of two of the world's top drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, that shook the Formula One landscape. Was this an early sign of a larger crisis within Ferrari? Let's discuss. Racing on the Suzuka circuit always requires precision and performance. But for Ferrari, the biggest challenge came from within. When strategy didn't go according to plan and the SF25 seemed unable to compete with Red Bull and McLaren, the frustration of their two drivers was clearly in the air. Lewis Hamilton, a seven-time world champion who had just joined Ferrari this season, could be heard demanding vital information from his team. "I'd really like some information on where I'm slow, mate," he said in a calm but frustrated tone. The engineer's response mentioned only a few corners: 8, 9, 13 and 14. Not satisfied with this explanation, Hamilton pressed again, "Okay, but how much? Let me know." It wasn't just about speed. It was about trust. Hamilton wanted real data, concrete information that could help him fight. But all he got was a vague answer, as if he had to figure it out for himself in the middle of a fierce race. Charles Leclerc was no less outspoken. When his team instructed him to change the engine braking settings, Leclerc replied sharply, "Yes, you've already told me. I don't do it for no reason." A short but profound statement, as if to say that he didn't feel heard, that what he was experiencing on the track was not understood by the people behind the scenes. These two moments were not isolated incidents. They were part of a larger story. Ferrari was in a systemic crisis. The signs had been there since the start of the 2025 season. An embarrassing disqualification at the Chinese Grand Prix due to worn floorboards, a dismal performance in Australia, and now a disappointing result in Japan. The SF25 car, touted as a symbol of Ferrari's revival, failed to live up to expectations. The car was still very sensitive to height settings and had a narrow setup window, meaning that even a small change could drastically reduce its performance. Its downforce also lagged behind its main rivals, especially Red Bull and McLaren. Leclerc finished fourth, without any major incidents, but also without any real chance of a podium finish. "The race was annoying," he said. "I was all alone out there." Simple words, but they convey the loneliness of battling against the limitations of your own car. Hamilton fared even worse, finishing seventh. And after the race, he revealed something that had long been whispered in the paddock. One of the key components of his car had been underperforming since the first race of the season. "I'm really hoping that once this is fixed I can start to get better results," he said. The problems were not just engine or aerodynamic. They reflected flaws in the team's structure and culture. Ineffective communication, weak data analysis, and overly conservative strategic decisions, these are all symptoms of an organization that has lost its way. At Suzuka, Ferrari's strategy was cautious, even passive. Leclerc started the race on medium tires, then switched to hard, a standard strategy, with no innovation, no aggression. No undercuts to overtake rivals. No splitting strategy to create pressure. They played it safe, and the results were mediocre. Worse, communication between the pit wall and the drivers was clumsy and unproductive. When Hamilton had to repeat data requests in the middle of the race, it showed that something was wrong with the priority of information. Leclerc's refusal of technical instructions also indicated a disconnect between the reality of the track and the orders from the garage. The internal tensions at Ferrari were not just about performance on the track. Behind the scenes, there was a much more complex and strategic battle, a struggle for direction, philosophy, and leadership within the team. The situation escalated with the arrival of Lewis Hamilton, a legendary figure with 7 world championships and a major influence in the world of Formula One. Jacques Villeneuve, the former world champion who is now known for his outspoken comments, has made a rather shocking statement. Hamilton didn't just join Ferrari. He took over the team. It may sound harsh, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Hamilton's arrival is not just about adding a new driver. He brings a new culture, a different way of working, and most importantly, a vision that may be at odds with Ferrari's current foundations. Hamilton is known not only for his speed, but also for his political and strategic savvy. At Mercedes, he has built the team around him, creating a working environment that is highly conducive to his performance. He didn't come to Ferrari to simply fill an empty seat. He came to win, and to win he knows that the entire organization must be aligned with him. With more than a decade of experience at the highest level, Hamilton knows how to shape a team to suit his needs. Charles Leclerc, on the other hand, has long been Ferrari's golden boy. Since his debut with the team in 2019, Leclerc has been touted as the future of the prancing horse. He has speed, loyalty, and a strong emotional connection with the team and the fans. Ferrari has seemed to revolve around him in recent years. Strategy, car development, and public communications have often been tailored around Leclerc as a central axis. But now everything has changed. Leclerc is no longer alone. He has to share the spotlight, the technical attention, and possibly the direction of the car's development with Hamilton. This situation creates a new dynamic. Will they really work together? Or will the internal rivalry intensify, splitting the team into two poles? Naomi Schiff, a former F1 driver and analyst, has suggested that there is a potential identity crisis within Ferrari. This is not just about two great drivers competing against each other, but about two very different approaches to how an F1 team should be run. Is Ferrari still the team that was built and developed around Leclerc? Or are they evolving, even transforming, into a team tailored to Hamilton's style, demands, and needs? These questions are all the more pertinent given the lack of positive results on the track. External pressure from the media and fans, combined with internal tensions, create a fragile situation. In F1, success is not only about the speed of the car, but also about the harmony and clarity of roles within the team. If Ferrari fails to define who is in charge, or more importantly, what philosophy they embrace, then a breakup may not just be a possibility, but an inevitability. Ferrari is at a crossroads that will determine the future of Formula One. On the one hand, they have two incredible drivers, world-class talents capable of challenging anyone on the grid. On the other hand, they lack a crucial element, a car that can match their immense talent. Ferrari's historical power as a motorsport icon is undeniable, with its vast resources, first-class facilities, and fanatical support from tifosi around the world. But that power is wasted if it is not consistently translated into performance on the track. The problem is not just the speed of the car or the sometimes confusing pit-stop strategy. It is something deeper, more systemic. Ferrari seems to have lost its way. Its vision is clouded, its execution of strategy is often inconsistent, and the relationships between the team's key elements, drivers, engineers, and top management are strained. In a sport that demands absolute unity and precision, a small rift can be the beginning of a major breakdown. And now Ferrari faces its biggest challenge in a decade, rebuilding the bridge of trust. It's not just about getting the car up to speed or shaving a second off the pit stop time. It's about unifying the vision, rebuilding trust between the people in the garage, and reshaping the team's culture to match its lofty ambitions. Unless Ferrari takes drastic action soon, from structural reform of the organization to overhauling its technical approach, to reinventing a more adaptive and communicative work philosophy, this season will be just another near miss in its long history. And Ferrari isn't built for near misses. They're built to dominate. Will Ferrari address this issue soon? Write your thoughts.